Welcome. We Sadkhas fulfilled with intensity for it to be parallel with Vedic Sathapatya have to permit our mind to be in deep trance and continuous sittings of trance will help us imbibe the values of Vedic Sathapatya at the base of Aadi Valimiki Ramayana, particularly the Ardhanareshwar transcendental features of Vedic Sathapatya are lively as a transcendental flow along Sathapatya miring rod format. To be parallel with Ardhanareshwar transcendental features of Vedic Sathapatya, we have to place ourselves at the seat of origin of this space. This space as a space content gets conditioned within the dimensional frames. The Aadi Valimiki Ramayana initiation as a printout in the very first sarga of the first kanda, Balkanda, is the enlightenment path on which Narad Muni has put Aadi Ramayana chase steps to be followed by Maharishi Valmiki. Therefore, Sadkhas fulfilled with intensity of urge to be parallel with Vedic systems of Sathapatya being followed in the organization of knowledge of Aadi Valimiki Ramayana shall simultaneously focus upon the Vedic mathematics Sathapatya format as well. The term Sopan has a simple rendering as a complete domain. Ramayana as a formulation is of TC value 26, which is parallel with TCV Sopan. We also know that formulation Devata as well accepts TC value 26. As such, Sopan has a simple rendering as a complete domain in itself. Each Devata is a complete domain. Ramayana is a complete domain. Therefore, we shall initiate ourselves by focusing upon the formulation Sopan. The Sopan as a complete domain, as Ramayan is a complete existence format of life within human frame as a Pursha. Pursha formulation is of TC value 24 and rebirth of this format takes us from 24 to 48. And the value 48 as 48 double-digit numbers of 7 place value system get accommodated along the grid 6 cross 8, and the first 3-digit number of 7-place value system, which has equivalent value 49 in 10-place value system, transcends the grid. The value 49, which transcends 6x8 grid, is Partham Sopan, the first complete domain feature. Partham Sopan as 49 that way becomes our initiation point. Sadkhas are fulfilled with intensity of urge to be parallel with Vedic Sathapatya format of Aadi Valimiki Ramayana shall glimpse and imbibe 7 space as origin of 6 space, further 6 space as origin of 5 space, still further 5 space as origin of 4 space, and 4 space as origin of 3 space. Formulation Narad is of TC value 21, 10 plus 11, equal to the summation value of 4 folds of full unit hypercube 3 and half unit hypercube 3. Formulation Brahma is of TC value 29, which is equivalent to the summation value of full unit hypercube 4 and half unit hypercube 4. A step ahead, the formulation Sri Bhagwan is 37, which is equal to the summation value of full unit hypercube 5 and half unit hypercube 5. Finally, Nav Braham is of TC value 45, and the same takes us to the value of origin of 8 space, and it is this jump from 7 space to 8 space in a way is a reach at the origin of a 7 space, and as such a reach from first Sopan 49 to 45 is of a reverse orientation 49, 48, 47, 46, and 45. These transcendental flow path features have been shared by Narad Muni as well as by Lord Brahma with Maharishi Valmiki. Sadhkas shall sit comfortably and permit the transcending mind to continuously remain in prolonged sitting of trance to be parallel with these Vedic formatting systems of knowledge and entertainment. This, in practical terms, comes to be that we have to initiate ourselves by glimpsing and imbibing the origin fold. It is for this that, first of all, let us have a visit of the text of Ganita Sutra 13, Sopan Antyam Dvayam Antyam. This text is a text of 20 letters and is of TCV value 80. On the computer screen is tabulation of this chase of TC values of this text as a text of 20 letters. It is going to be a very blissful exercise for each one of us to reach at this tabulation. The successful reach at this table in a way will prove to be of long leap forward, as this will make us parallel with the way transcendental content is to flow from beginning to end. Adi and Ant of a Sopan. So Adi Sopan, Ant are these triple phases and stages, and these triple phases and stages as triple formulations are the basic organization steps which are to be learnt by us, which are to be imbibed by us. Therefore, the formulation Spanantyam Dvayam Antyam, a text of 20 letters and of TC value 80, is to be chased for its 10 folds. Sopanantyam Dvayam is a wholesome formulation, so a single entity, and leads to value 1. This text, Supanantyam Dvayam is a composition of 7 syllables, so the contribution of 7 parallel to 7 syllables. This text is a text of 20 letters, and as such the contribution of these 20 letters. The column C3 is depicting these letters, and in C4 are depicted the placement values of these letters, that is the TC values of these letters. In column 5 is a reach of the transcendental transcendence, means the flow of the content through the dimensional frames. Domain to dimension of dimension is the transcendence feature, and column 5 is tabulation of the TT value, transcendence value for these 7 syllables. Step ahead is a step of reach at the individual letters of frequencies. C7 gives individual letters of formulations. C8 gives individual letters geometric formats. C9 gives the transcendence range, and C10 gives the synthesis of such pair of transcendence ranges. This tabulation is a very big tabulation, one who is fulfilled with intensity of urge to be parallel with Vedic systems, the Vedic Sathapatya format of Aadi Valimiki Ramayana. And when one is trying to approach Vedic Sathapatya format of Aadi Valimiki Ramayana in terms of Vedic Ganita Sutras, then Sutra 13, Supanantyam Dvayam Antyam, is going to be a proper initiation. So the formulation Supanantyam Dvayam Antyam is to be chased for its all 10 inner folds of its TCV value. This tabulation is ultimately to become the index of our comprehension of the essential features of Vedic Sathapatya, being availed by the text of Aadi Valimiki Ramayana. For it, now let us have a focus upon as what is Vedic mathematics Sopan, means what is the Sathapatya domain coverage of Vedic mathematics itself. For it, we have to glimpse Kalp. Kalp is the 6th Vedanga. Kalp is a formulation. Kalp is a formulation whose first letter Ka has its own creative designs, and Ka as a Ka Brahma, Ka as Ka Shiv, Ka as Ka Vishnu sequentially leads us to the way the inner organization of the creative domain sequentially takes us to the transcendental domain, self-referral domain, and ultimately to the unity state domain. So now one shall approach this formulation Kalp with Ka as a Brahma, Brahma, a four-headed Lord, Creator, the Supreme, the presiding deity of the Creator, the space. How this organization, Kalp formulation as Ka Brahma, is sequentially leading us to its 10 folds, as is the tabulation on the computer screen. This formulation being the formulation of the source word formulation of Kalp Vedanga itself, the sixth Vedanga. Therefore, one shall glimpse its values, and for its glimpsing and imbibing, one shall sit comfortably and to permit one's mind to be sequentially parallel with the way 10 inner folds of this formulation are expressing their inner organization features. The very first fold as a word Kalp, as a single entity, has a contribution 1. The formulation Kalp as a composition of a pair of syllables leads to value 2. The formulation Kalp as a composition of 5 letters has a contribution of value 5. Step ahead, these 5 words Ka, A, L, Pa, and A are having their placements in Devanagari alphabet format as 41551, summation value 16. So the TCV value fold, the fourth fold, is of value 16. Step ahead, the transcendence through the dimensional frame, through the vowels here in this pair of syllables will be Ka 4, A value 3, 4 into 3, and La Pa 10, A 3, 30, and 42 as such is the TC value of this phase and stage of the fifth fold. Step ahead, the frequencies. There are 5 letters and Kara. The frequency is 20. So 5 into 20 plus 16 as the letters, numbers, values. So 116. Step ahead is the formulation. 4 leads to value 12. Then 1 leads to value 8. 5 leads to value 15. 5 leads to value 15. 1 leads to value 8. Total summation value is 58. Then the formulations, 4 space hypercube 4 means 14. 1 space hypercube 1 means 2. 5 space hypercube 5 means 18. 5 space hypercube 5 means 18. And 1 as a 1 space means hypercube 2. So the summation value 54. The transcendence range is going to be of 2 multiplied by 5 as the double number of syllables plus the letters. And the transcendence range is 5 gives 130. and pair of transcendence ranges value comes to be 276. Let us visit again. If we have sequential summation of these 10 inner folds values, then as is the summation in the last column, it will sequentially be 1. 1 plus 2 is 3. 3 plus 5 is 8. 16 plus 8 is 24. 42 plus 24 is 66. 116 and 16 is 182. 58 and 182 is 240. 54 and 240 is 294. 130 and 294 is 424. And 276 plus 424 is 700. Blissful reach. There are precisely 700 shlokas of the text of Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Precisely there are 700 shlokas, are the shlokas and vachas of Srimad Durga Saptasati. There are 700 shlokas of Siddhisthanam of Charak Sahita. This way is the reach. We have to glimpse, we have to imbibe, we have to be parallel with it. And it is only by being parallel with it that we will be having a reach at hypercube 7, Dambru of Lord Shiva. And it is this reach for which we are initiating ourselves. And it is the reach of Vedic Sathapatya adopted by Aadi Valimiki Ramayana. It is Vedic mathematics Sathapatya Sopan. So sadhkas are fulfilled with intensity of urge to be parallel with Vedic systems, Vedic Sathapatya, Vedic mathematics, Vedic sciences, Vedic technologies, Vedic scriptures, knowledge organization shall sit comfortably and to permit the transcending mind to be parallel with 10 inner folds of formulation Kalp Ka Brahma Srishtikarta. In this background, it will be very blissful to have a sequential chase of the lively phenomenon at the origin fold. Origins are in compactified state. The origin of 3 space is a 4 space. This reach in Shila as Chakshu is a reach of H3 full unit hypercube 3 and half unit hypercube 3 of value 21 parallel with the TC value of formulation Narad, and as is the preservation of Aadi Valimiki Ramayana itself of its very first sarga, as that Narad Muni had put Maharishi Valmiki on the transcendental path for complete coverage of Ramayana. Ramayana as a sopan is to be chased by initiating oneself to be parallel with the lively phenomenon at the seat of origin. And Narad is a sage fulfilled with knowledge of a mental state as per the lively format of the origin of a 3 space. Step ahead, the origin of 4 space is of full unit and half unit hypercubes 4, making summation value 29 parallel with the TC value of formulation Brahma. The initiation chased by Brahma is in continuity of the initiation lead of Narad to the Valmiki. We are sequentially shifting from the origin of a 3 space to origin of a 4 space, and sequentially when we'll go a step ahead at the origin of a 5 space as full unit hypercube 5 and half unit hypercube 5, we will be at value 37, which is parallel with the TC value of Sri Bhagwan, Lord Krishna. As Sri Bhagwan has imparted enlightenment, the divine dialogue of Gita is the enlightenment of Sri Bhagwan, and a step ahead we will be reaching at the origin of 6 space, and this continuity chase is to be learned, to be followed, to be imbibed, to be applied, and to be enjoyed blissfully. Therefore, sadhakas fulfilled with intensity of urge shall visit the formulation kalp with ka with its TC value 1, then ka Brahma as TC value 4, and a step ahead ka as a Shiv with a TC value 5, and still ahead ka Vishnu with a TC value 6, and one will see that one is sequentially reaching from Ka Brahma value of 700 to 728 as Ka Shiv and 748 as Ka Vishnu. It is here where we will be going parallel with the text of Srimad Bhagavad Gita of 700 shlokas, being a text of enlightenment of 59 vachas, as of 745 enlightenment shlokas, and ultimately the wholesome unison attainment. It is this sequential unfolding from within of this very formulation, which on its chase will help us comprehend the way transcendental content flows upon a Sathapatya miring rod presided by Lord Vishnu, and its mire being presided by Lord Brahma, while the format itself is a transcendental format of the features of Ardhanareshwar. Sadhakas are fulfilled with intensity of urge shall sit comfortably and have a fresh visit. One shall have visit time and again of the formulation Sopan itself, and further the Sopan as a complete domain deserves to be comprehended, having its Adi beginning, having its Ant, and in between Adi and Ant, all that is Sopan. Now this Sopan as a complete domain is going to be of a features, Bahir Lakshan, Madhya Lakshan, and Antrik Lakshan, from external boundary to the middle, the center, the origin, and then transcendence within the origin. So this Adi to Ant, which appears to be linearly, sequentially organized setup, is in fact which takes only up till the middle, and there happens to be a transcendence at the middle. So this Sopan is not of a linear format, it in fact is having a reach for its middle from both ends, and there happens to be a transcendence at the middle. So it is this inward transcendence at the middle which in fact is responsible for having attainment of a transcendence from a linear order to a spatial order. It is this what is to be learned. And if we see the Bahir, a formulation of value 21, Madhya of 19, Antarik as 22, and the gap value between Bahir and Madhya as 2, and between Madhya and Antarik as 3 is parallel with the summation value of hypercube 1, a full unit, and a hypercube 1 of half unit. It is this feature of this organization which deserves to be comprehended well if we want to be parallel with this system. Sadhkas shall sit comfortably and to permit the mind to glimpse that Aadi formulation is of TC value 10, which is the summation value of hypercube 3 full unit. Sopan is of TC value 26, which is parallel with the summation value of 4 folds of hypercube 7 of a full unit, while Ant 14 is of summation value 14 of the 4 folds of hypercube 4 of a full unit. And hypercube 7 is A raised to power 7 is to 14, B raised to power 6. And it is here where when we will be through the enlightenment of the knowledge of Aadi Valimiki Ramayana of Ramana Sopan, we will be appreciating by being parallel with it as to how the hypercube 7 is a domain, a sopan within a self-referral boundary of a 14 components. So 6 space, B raised to power 6 stands shifted to a boundary. So 14 Varsh Banvas. We will be appreciating as to how Rama has been exiled for 14 years, and thereafter Ram Rajya has been for 11,000 years. We will be seeing as to how the 7 space as domain enveloped within self-referral boundary of 14 components is of 11,000 years manifestation phenomenon. Sadhakas fulfilled with intensity of urge shall begin from the very beginning, that is from the first Sopan, the Partham Sopan itself, and the formulation Partham Sopan to Dasam Sopan are 10 phases and stages through which one is to be sequentially through to be parallel with the enlightenment of the knowledge of Aadi Valimiki Ramayana. Partham Sopan is of value 49, which is Marutuganas, and it is the first triple digit number of 7 place value system. We have to learn it, and then we will have to sequentially be through all these spawns, and we will see that the TCB values of these 10 formulations as Partham Sopan to Dasam Sopan, and these values are 44, 45, 46, then 49, 50, 51, 52, 53. there is a jump over the values 46 and 47. Sorry, 47 and 48. Therefore, to have a complete appreciation of it, first of all, let us revisit number value 7. 7 as Sapt is a tissue value 14. Trishapta, it is 3 and 7. G3 7, it is 7 geometries range of 3 space with 7 versions of hypercube 3 as the representative regular bodies of 7 geometries of 3 space. G6 plus 7 is a phenomenon of 7 non-negative geometries of 6 space. Hypercube 7 is 567 of summation value 26, and it is a value of the Sopan. So Sopan is hypercube 7. Like that, we have to reach at hypercube 7.5 unit value, D7, 7 space content, its manifestation, and the transcendence ranges, pair of transcendence ranges of dimensional order 7 with synthesis values 97. This will ultimately take us to 7 cross 7 grid, and the entire Sopan is to be worked out as this 7 cross 7 grid. It is Damaru, it is hypercube 7. Sadkhas fulfilled with intensity of urge shall visit number value 7 as a unit. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 will become 7, 14, 21, 28, 35, 42, and 49. See 7 and 14. These are love and kush. See Sitaram, it is value 28. Now, first Sopan to 10th Sopan as 44, 45, 46, 49, 50, 51, 50, 53 has a jump over 47 and 48. Chapter 1 of Gita is 47 shlokas range with its Pushpika syllabus being 48. It is Arjuna Vishad Yog. It is here where the Arjuna is held up. It is here where the Arjuna wants enlightenment. It is here where the Sri Bhagwan, Lord Krishna as Sri Bhagwan, bestows enlightenment upon the Arjuna. And it is this enlightenment for which we, the Sadkhas, are also having our initiation. The initiation as such today has a focused attention with respect to the lively phenomenon at the origin, and then 7 as a unit, and then the values appear 21 and 28. 21 and 28 are the only pair of shlokas in the entire text of Gita which have been spoken half by half. Shloka 21 of chapter 1 is of 2 parts. First part is spoken by Sanjay and second part is being spoken by Arjuna. Likewise, Shloka 28 of chapter 1 is the shloka whose first part is spoken by Sanjay and the second part is spoken by Arjuna. Except for these 2 shlokas, all other shlokas are unified shlokas. Love Kush together are 21, Sitaram together are 28. So 21 and 28, which are 3 units of 7 value, 4, 28 is 4 units of value 7. So it is the phenomenon as to how we shall have a jump from linear order 3 space to a spatial order 4 space. This is to be learnt. We are initiating ourselves accordingly. Thank you very much.